championship weekend is here finally, and I mean, what are you doing?
I was moving my lips, making look I was saying it.
AFC, NFC championships are finally upon us. I mean, the playoffs are flying by just as quick as the season has, Bryce. And focus.
What's the IQ to be on the show? 3?
Clearly not much. The question is, what are the IQ to actually watch the show?
Hopefully not high.
Let's start with the NFC, the early game, 3 o'clock matchup in Atlanta.
I said we should close with that. That's the one that matters between us. The other one does
you
not
think?
matter.
All right, that's fine. We'll start with the late game. New England versus Baltimore. Let's talk about New England's offense versus the defense. The newly revamped, it's not revamped, but re-energized defense with Ray Lewis back. Their defense the past couple of games, granted they gave up a lot of points against Denver, but they're playing like they actually have a chip on their shoulder and they're playing for Ray Lewis.
Yeah, but if you watch the defense, the Baltimore defense is just getting old like the Steelers defense. And you can tell that in the Broncos game. Just watch some of the missed tackles they had. Ray Lewis had a bunch of missed tackles and a bunch of plays where he was a step too slow to get to the hole and stop the running back. And I honestly think the Ravens, I know they're going to talk about the defense. Ray Lewis's last year, yada yada yada. That offense has to come together. That offense can be terrific.
That's the thing. The Denver has a better defense than New England does.
I agree.
Did you not? Joe Flacco pretty much picked them apart.
Anquan Bolden, Joe Flacco, and Ray Rice looked terrific in that game. And I think it's going to be more of a scoring fest than anybody thinks. I think it's going to be,
So you think it's going to be like last week?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a Patriots offense that is without Rob Gronkowski, but still has a ton of weapons for Tom Brady, versus an offense that's kind of coming into its own with Joe Flacco, the new offensive coordinator, and Anquan Bolden, who has been just a beast in the past 3 games.
Well, let's talk about this real quick. I mean, for some reason, Belichick has decided to look at the college ranks and go, you know what, Oregon's looking pretty good. Let's do a little hint of this and see if we can try this.
Why not?
And granted, you can't have the mobile quarterback with Tom Brady, but at the same time, you do have a array of running backs that still run hard.
Absolutely.
You still have wide receivers that are possession wide receivers that can catch the ball and still sneak in and out of coverages. You were just talking about it. Can this old defense hang with New England's offense?
I think New England's offense has more weapons than the Broncos' offense, and the Ravens couldn't hang with the Broncos' offense. I honestly think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I think it's going to be mid to high 30s.
On the other side of the ball, let's talk about New England's defense. And granted, no one can argue right now that New England's defense isn't better this year than it has been in years past. But can New England's defense stop Ray Rice, stop Anquan Bolden, the way that they're running? Ray Rice ran for 131 yards against the Broncos defense, which is tough to do.
Yeah,
especially
I forget his name.
Von Miller.
Yeah.
Especially in the cold temperatures, and you're going to Foxborough. Granted, it's still going to be cold, just like it was in Denver. But
it's cold in Baltimore.
You think? I mean, Ray Rice is going to have a big game.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a big game by Ray Rice, but I honestly think this game, like I said, rests on the shoulders of Joe Flacco and Anquan Bolden. Joe Flacco and Anquan Bolden have done terrifically together the past 2 games. The past Cincinnati.
When it matters.
Yeah, when it matters. The Cincinnati game, Anquan Bolden had 100-something yards in the third quarter, 2 touchdowns, and they played awesomely together in the third and fourth quarter of the Cincinnati game, and then the whole game last week they looked terrific. And I think it's going to be a high-scoring game.
What do you think?
Baltimore's going to win. It's going to be high-scoring. I don't know. Baltimore's going to win. I said this. I believe last week I said it was going to be Atlanta and San Francisco, and it was going to be Baltimore and New England.
You did call that.
Yeah.
You were the only one that called that, right?
I mean, you also called the Super Bowl a hardball bowl.
I truly believe it's going to be a hardball bowl. I think they're going to keep riding Ray Lewis. We're doing this for Ray Lewis. New England has nobody to do it for except for themselves, and they've already done it.
I'm going to say New England. I think New England's offense is going to actually take care of. Well, yeah, true. I think New England's offense can actually take care of business against the Ravens defense.
I'm guessing you're saying New England too.
No, I'm going Baltimore.
Are you though?
I think Baltimore's offense has enough firepower to outlast New England. I think New England has a better defense than.
You're saying Harbaugh will too.
Well, we'll see, but yeah, I am going Baltimore on this one. I honestly think Joe Flacco and Anquan Bolden have come into their own. I think that is a dangerous. I mean, we saw what Anquan Bolden could do.
He's making catches I've never seen him make.
Out in Arizona, we saw what Anquan Bolden could do with no quarterback.
Yes.
Kurt Warner was on the downside of his career, and Anquan Bolden.
He's a good announcer.
Well, yes, he is. He did a terrific job, and keeps going off. I really think the Ravens are going to take this, and I think it's going to be Anquan Bolden and Joe Flacco.
The NFC Championship starts at 3 o'clock on Fox, and some team out of San Francisco, I think.
The Giants?
Raiders?
Giants, maybe?
I don't know, yeah.
49ers are coming into Atlanta, and both of these teams have been just red hot down the stretch, minus the last game for the Falcons, who just kind of they didn't care.
I
mean,
against the Bucks.
Yeah, they didn't care. Last week the Heart Attack Bowl in the division matchup, but 49ers seem to be taking care of business on offense. Kolin Keapernick seems to actually be running the system that John Harbaugh has set for him, and he's looking good. It's making Jim Harbaugh look really impressive, taking Alex Smith out of the equation.
We did touch on in the last show that I forgot to mention. What really, really impressed me about him is that first drive, he threw an interception, he returned for a touchdown, and it didn't shake him. He was like, okay, let's go out here. And then they went down the field and scored. He's got the composure of a great quarterback. He's got the legs of a great quarterback. He's got the arms of a great quarterback. And to get his mind together, he'll be a great quarterback.
And we'll touch on this a little bit later, too, in the in the draft special here, later in April. But it seems to me that a lot of rookie quarterbacks, young quarterbacks, are starting to evolve quicker than it used to be, because it seemed like some of the rookie quarterbacks that would come in, they just completely crap themselves in the NFL.
It took them 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, and now it seems like they're starting to adapt better. Is that a portion of the college game speeding up?
I think so. I think it's a portion of the NFL getting brought over to college, because when you go to college, if you're a decent athlete, your main goal is the NFL, and you want to go to a college that is going to put you up against NFL talent. It is going to put you in an NFL system to where you're going to be ready to make a good transition into the NFL, and I think that has a lot to do with it.
I think when Jim Harbaugh finally does leave San Francisco, hopefully it won't be for a long time, he should be a straight quarterback, just work with quarterbacks. You see what he did with Andrew Luck and Stanford. You see what he did this year.
Yeah.
That's some of Jim's touch.
Do me a favor and take off the fan hat for a second. But yeah, you just, for instance, tell me what you think the Atlanta offense is going to do against your 49ers defense.
Julio Jones and Roddy White will have a lot of passes thrown to them, because unlike Seattle,
your cornerbacks aren't that tall.
They're not as aggressive as. But hey, Carlos Rogers can jump. Luke can jump. I've seen him make some impressive.
You have to when you're 5'3".
Yes, he's 5'2.5" to discuss it. But Tony Gonzalez is not going to have a heyday against our linebackers.
I agree.
He's got Willis, he's got Bowman, and when out on Smith's not trying to get to the quarterback, he will step back and
drop back in coverage.
Yes, and he's really good at that. And your run game's not going to be able to run like they did in Seattle, because our defensive line, especially Justin Smith, is getting a little bit closer and closer to being what he was. And you see how important he is to that team. The 2 games that he was out, we look like garbage when he's in there. He's a force to be reckoned with. And Allen Smith can be up front, or he can be in the back, and that will stop the running. Rodgers scares me more than Turner, though. He does, because he's quick. Mm-hmm. He's very quick, and I think
and he showed some explosiveness in the game last week.
He will run over people, which will surprise the goodness out of me when he ran over old dude.
You and I both, yeah.
I was like, was that Turner or was that Rodgers running?
All right.
Yeah.
Bryce, what do you think's going to happen?
I've been going back and forth on this game.
It's still early.
Yeah,
it's still early in the week. I'm sure by the end of the week, Bryce will have a completely different mindset on this.
Will. Alex Gonzalez is such.
Who is Alex Gonzalez?
I mean, Tony Gonzalez. Sorry, I have my Braves stuff on. I'm already in baseball season mode.
I would be too if I was a Cowboys fan.
Oh.
You will be on Monday.
I know.
Tony Gonzalez is such a big part of this offense, and he's not going to get open like he did against Seattle. The 49ers have the linebackers, have enough athleticism that can cover them. Matt Ryan has to recognize this. Matt Ryan made a lot of bad throws to Tony Gonzalez last week that Tony Gonzalez, just because he's the greatest tight end of all time, caught. You're not going to be able to force those balls in with Willis and Bowman there in the backfield. And like you said, Smith maybe dropping back in a coverage type setting. You're not going to be able to do that. You're going to have to get the screen game working, which really wasn't working against Seattle's defense. They couldn't get going. I credit it to the defensive line of Seattle, and I think the 49ers have a better defensive line. The key to this game for the Falcons on offense is Julio Jones.
Harry Douglas is going to be important too.
And Roddy White down the seams and hitting Harry Douglas. In between, you saw Russell Wilson last week with the Falcons hit the soft spot behind the linebackers and in front of the safeties. That's where Harry Douglas is going to have to make his money right there. And on the opposite side, you have I really like Kolin Keapernick as a quarterback. I think he has a lot of promise. He's amazingly mobile, got an extremely strong arm. There's just not a lot of stuff to dislike about Kolin Keapernick. The only nitpicky thing that I see that I think is going to prevent them from winning this game is he just doesn't, from what I have seen, have the touch of an NFL championship quarterback, which will come in time, I think. And if he does get that touch this week, it's not really that hard of a thing where you have to take years to develop a touch as a quarterback. But just think about all the on a dime passes that the NFL quarterbacks have made in the Super Bowl.
He is
in the Super
really
Bowl.
good.
I think that's the only chink in the armor
but
for
you don't
Kolin
have
Keapernick.
to have Trent Dilfer won a ring.
I agree.
Brad Johnson won a ring. Come on, man.
How has the NFL progressed in so many years? Back then, a lot of it was rushing, and now it's pretty much a passing league. As much as Kolin Kaepernick had 181 yards last week, but he was in the.
Frank Gore can still do it too, though.
I agree. You have to use the rush to set up the pass, but I think that's the one chink in Kolin Kaepernick's armor. But I don't even know. See, I want to pick the Falcons in this game. I think the Falcons have more offensive weapons.
To talk yourself into where you can.
I don't know. I honestly don't know. It's like the Aggies thing.
He's really turning into Kirk Herbstreit right now, where he breaks down the game but doesn't give us an answer.
I'm just going to break down the game because I don't have an answer. I want to pick the Falcons, and I think the Falcons are going to win, but I wouldn't make my pick until Saturday night.
Understandable.
Daniel, I know who you're going to pick, but give me
why
a 30. Let's just break it down to 30 seconds.
I know.
30 seconds. Sorry.
5 minutes of it. Shit.
Yeah, I am like Kirk Herbstreit, man. When I get into breaking down a game, I don't stop.
He doesn't talk.
I'll just leave the set now.
My breakdown of it. What's going to happen? Your defense is good. Not good enough to touch. Not good enough to really stop a rushing attack. And y'all been decent against mobile quarterbacks. I don't think Wilson used the option like he should have. I really, if they would have used the option more, it might have been a different game. The 49ers will use that option. And Kaepernick does not run because he has to. He runs when he has to, not because he wants to. He's not a running quarterback. He's really good at it when he does. Where Michael Vick, when the play breaks down, the first thing goes to his mind is run.
Or even before the play breaks down.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Kolin Kaepernick does a good job of looking through his progressions before.
Yes.
That's like his third or fourth option is running.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think it can go either way. It really can. I'm not going to say the 49ers going to straight out win. The Falcons can win. It's the NFL. It's a win-win for me either way. In my opinion, this is the Super Bowl. Whoever wins this game will win the Super Bowl. You've got the two best teams left in the playoffs. If the 49ers win, I'll be super happy. That's a bigger win for me. If the Falcons win, I'm all for it. I'd just rather see the 49ers in it.
The biggest thing for me, and correct me if I'm wrong, Bryce, but majority of the time with the option that the 49ers are going to run, it really deals with how quick the defensive line could get into the backfield.
Defensive end. It plays off the defensive end.
Now, we all know the Falcons' defensive ends can't really get into the backfield very very well as compared to Green Bay's, as compared to some of the other teams. So granted, they ran on them, but I really don't think, because as much as I know that Corey Bierman and John Abraham wants to get to the quarterback, I really think that as much as they want to, I'm not sure they will.
I think with the option, sometimes your left tackle and your right tackle and your left guard and your right guard might sometimes kind of let it come in just to let that happen. You know what I'm saying? Might give in a little bit if you know your quarterback's going to run. You know what I'm saying?
If it's true read option, the end on the option side is left unblocked.
They want you to come in so they can.
The defensive end, say it's a left read option. The left defensive end is unblocked, and if he crashes down on the running back, the quarterback takes it. If he stays at home and stays outside to take the quarterback, they give it off to the running back and he busts behind the center. So yeah, the defensive end on the side that the play is going is unblocked on a read option.
But
I know what you're saying. They don't really get to
here's the thing that I think will be a big thing. I think if John Abraham and Corey Bierman are really patient and sits there and waits on that option, granted, Frank Gore and Kolin Keapernick might beat them immediately, but the Falcons are incredibly good at gang tackling, and they will come out of nowhere to tackle you. So I really.
Nolan used to be a 49er.
He was a 49er. He
kind of knows.
Yeah.
But
not
I think the biggest player on the defensive side for the Falcons will be Witherspoon.
I was about to say that too.
I think he will be on a spy.
I was about to say he is going to be the spy. If they're smart, he will be the spy.
I think they will be a spy, and I think they will play zone a lot, because we saw what Green Bay did. Green Bay stayed in man the whole first half. It didn't work, and then they stayed in man the whole second half, and it didn't work even more. So the ability not to adjust to the offense by Dom Capers was a really big hindrance on an already talentless Green Bay defense. I think Mike Nolan needs to dial up something good. I think Spoon is going to be on the spy most often, and I think he's the most important defensive player for the Falcons.
He will be. I agree.
I'm taking the Niners.
No, you ain't. Shut up.
I really am. As much as I want the Falcons to win, and I really want the Falcons to win, I really think that the Niners are actually going to pull this victory out and go to New Orleans.
Really?
I picked against Dallas once this year, and I never picked against Ohio State.
I'm not picking against Ohio State.
Would you pick against Ohio State?
No.
I always miss that. I don't watch college football.
But that's it for the NFC and AFC Championship weekend.
You said it's going to be a 49er and
Patriots.
Yep. So that's a rematch. You said the same thing?
I don't know. I don't know who's going to win the NFC. I have no idea.
Who wins the Super Bowl if it goes down to that?
If it goes down to 49ers, Patriots, that's going to be a toss-up, and we'll have to.
Go 49ers on that.
I really think so too.
Yeah, I would go 49ers in the
So you're picking the 49ers win the Super Bowl this year?
Yeah.
That's number 6.
And here's the thing. Here's the thing. I'm good either way because my wife is a San Francisco fan. So either way, one of us is going to be happy going to the Super Bowl, regardless. So
I'm happy. I'm not going to be happy being at the game and spending all that money on watching my team lose.
I haven't been happy for the past 3 weeks.
You're a sad guy.
I hate Jerry Jones.
We'll see you guys on the other side of the AFC and NFC Championship. For Bryce and Daniel, I'm Billy. See you guys.